this one. City administration report.
Same, just for the main meeting, nothing for this.
Okay. Let's see, do we have anybody on their anniversary?
We do.
We do. Have I signed Derek Ingstrom? I signed it a while ago. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you do.
Wouldn't you know, she's way ahead, so that's good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Consent items. Consideration to approve the meeting minutes from the November 5th work session. And council made any changes or corrections to those minutes? Do you have anything sent in, Ms. Maragoni? Nothing? Okay, very good. Nothing it looks like for this meeting, so. Action items. Number 1, consideration of resolution 2025-36 adopting an updated water conservation plan.
I don't have anything, it's pretty simple, straightforward.
Anybody have any questions procedurally for this meeting about what we're doing? Okay. We're gonna run out of things here real fast. Number 2, consideration of resolution 2025-37 general election canvass. Margoni.
I don't have anything. I sent the reports to you guys in an email this morning, and I'll have it pulled up on the screen. Go over it. And then I have a document that everyone needs to sign this time, so I'll just pass it around.
I just had one question, and I mentioned the main mill. It feels like this statement, Braden Mitchell, you were elected to city council. If I look at this, it says mayor candidate Braden Mitchell and city council candidates Ken Anderson, Bart, Annie, and then at the end are hereby certified and elected candidates as for office of city council. So I'm just wondering if that should be 2 sentences, you know, mayor candidate Braden Mitchell received the highest one, was elected mayor.
Where's that at?
On page? So it's
In the packet?
yeah, it's the first page of the resolution, 2025-37.
Okay.
So I think I know what we're trying to say there, but I don't know if it was just me that read it that way or. So it's this, yeah, right above the certification statement,
I can change it.
other than that.
Everybody else is okay with that? All right. Anything else for, do you have anything else, Ms. Margoni? Okay. Anything else from the council? All right. Action item number 3, discussion about the Stringtown Master Plan design process. Mr. Cooper.
Just say thanks for being flexible. This was a late add to the agenda based on a meeting we had Monday, so we thought we'd get it on to discuss it. There was also an additional document sent to you today with basically the executive summary, so I hope you've had time to read that. If not, it's essentially just procedural things we'll be talking about to get your input on how you would like to participate in the process that we're now initiating with our design consultant.
Okay, that was a late add. Any questions? Everybody hopefully had a chance to look at that information that came out today. Yeah. Councilor Sheen.
Slightly off topic. We're streaming.
Yes.
I have a hard time hearing. Probably need to be on mic.
Oh, yeah, please, always, thank you. 'Cause you can't hear anything on the screen.
No, and I just don't hear very well.
Oh, I'm not either. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. Anything else on the Stringtown Master Plan? Any other questions? What we're doing tonight? Okay. It's just a discussion. All right. Upcoming events. We do have the lunch on Friday. Miranda put out an email today asking to be there at 11:30, I think, if possible, to help get ready for that. They want to serve promptly at noon. We do have our combined meeting that's on December 2nd after the city council meeting, combined with the planning commission. Mr. Brooks, we have something else we're trying to get on that agenda too. Take care of that.
On the second?
On the second, yeah. So I have one thing I had Michelle help me get on there. I need to get reappointed to the sewer board.
Oh, okay.
There's something else on there that you were working on. So I sent you an email about it.
Okay.
But we'll try and keep that meeting short, hopefully, because we want to get with the planning commission. The employee Christmas luncheon's December 10th. That's a Wednesday, right? I think. Okay. Hopefully you can come to that. That's always fun. Senior Center Christmas dinner on December 12th. The Santa Run is something everybody looks forward to on the 20th. I guess then the city buildings are closed. Any comments from the city council? This meeting.
We didn't put on there that we'll be closed for Thanksgiving as well. We got the Christmas Day on there, but 27th and 28th
And both, right?
for
27th
Thanksgiving.
and
Yeah,
28th,
both of them will
okay.
be closed. And then we have that, Michelle just arranged this just today or yesterday. Our city council Christmas dinner was on the 5th. So
On the 5th. That's right. Yeah.
that was at Olive Garden. You should have gotten an invite on that today.
Yeah.
And the dates are actually wrong on the Christmas days. Instead of the 24th and 25th, it's going to be the 25th and 26th.
Oh.
I didn't know that till today.
Okay. So that gives you like a Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday.
Friday,
Thing.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from the staff?
No, Mayor.
Okay. And I don't have any comments either. So I kind of want to say it in the main meeting though. The mayor's report up above. Yeah, there's 3 things I want to talk about. But I guess people could be watching right now, but they might not yet. So. I would be fine with changing this meeting to 5:45. I think we rarely use all the time, it seems like, especially since we're trying to be so diligent about.
Be good. It's an experience.
Yeah, it's quite a deal.
I took it to Chicago from school.
When I was stationed in DC, we took.
All right. I'd like to call to order our Riverdale City Council meeting for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Let the record show all members of the City Council are present, as well as members of the city staff and members of the public. We have asked Councilor Bart Stevens to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
Please all arise. And join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor Stevens. I have asked Mr. Brooks, our city administrator, if he would offer our invocation tonight.
Our Father who art in heaven, we humbly bow our heads before thee this night and thank thee, Father, for the country that we have to live in and for the freedoms that we enjoy. We're grateful for this city and the many opportunities that it offers us, and we ask thee that thou might bless those individuals who make decisions on behalf of the residents and those who shop here in the city, that they might be inspired to say and do those things that benefit all of us as we enjoy this opportunity to live and shop and work here. Father, again, we're thankful for all that thou hast given us, and we express our appreciation unto thee and do so in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. We now have a time for public comment. It's an opportunity to address the City Council regarding your concerns or ideas. No action will be taken during this public comment period. If you do approach the microphone, please state your name and your city of residence, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. It looks like we have some members of our local Boy Scout troop here with us tonight. Scouts, that's right, local scout troop. Yeah, let's get that right. Do we have a senior patrol leader here tonight? No? An assistant senior patrol leader that could maybe come up and introduce your troop or crew or whatever you are here tonight. And oh, hang on there. Let's have you come up to that microphone or speak right into it so that the people online can hear you. Pull it up to your mouth a little bit. You bend right up there.
So I am Davis Hall. I'm part of Troop 1111. we're here for our communications, Mayor Badge. We're also sponsored by the Lions Club.
Okay. Do you want to introduce the members of your troop, maybe?
Yeah, so we have Daisy.
Maybe you can have them stand up when you say their name.
Yeah, Daisy, Wyatt, Gavin, and James here with us. So,
Okay. And who are your leaders?
so we also have Brian Hall, Margaret, and Rebecca also. Yeah. So.
Very good. Well, thank you. We're glad you're here. In case you can't tell, we don't get a lot of visitors, and so it's pretty exciting to have some visitors here tonight to watch us do our thing. So, seeing no other public comment, we will move on to presentations and reports. Number one, the mayor's report. I have 3 items. The first one I would think is the most exciting to me. UDOT has given us an indication that they're going to move forward. I think they're going to be able to drive 20-foot piles. And they're going to have to excavate a little bit. It's going to cost some extra money or whatever. They still have to cut things and weld them. But I think, if I miss anything, let me know, because there's a lot to it. I don't think they're going to have to drive during the night, which is fantastic. And they got to remobilize their work crew and stuff from Granite. But we hope to get that started, and it should cut a couple of months off, I would guess. We won't have to pay the airport, so anyway. Anything else on that I missed?
No, I think it's good.
Anyway, that's good. And that comes a lot from Councilor Arnold said he wants to defer to Mr. Douglas. Mr. Douglas is pretty vocal in our meetings, and he allows us to play like a good cop, bad cop type thing, and I really appreciate it, because then I can be a politician and be friendly with UDOT, and he can let him know what he really thinks about him. So anyway, I appreciate him and the candor that he brings to those meetings. So anyways, we got somebody's attention, so that's good. Next thing, MIDA, which is the organization that kind of runs the base, the Military Installation Development Authority or something. Anyway, they have some developments up there. Clearfield has that area, and they've had some success with their development, and they have decided that their goal was always to start giving money back to the cities, the 4 cities that surround, because we don't get any property tax off those guys, even though we should. And so they have decided that they're going to send $50,000 our way, which is very nice. We appreciate that. It'll it's a start. I got the feeling that they're going to try to continue that each year. So that's wonderful. And they said, I think 20% of the property's developed, and so they're going to continue to develop stuff. So hopefully there's a little bit of a windfall there for us each year. And another exciting award that we got, WACOG has made their decision on their transportation funds, and Riverdale got about $1.5 million towards our Ritter Drive roundabout. And so that's going to, and it was going to be programmed for 2028, but they were able to move that forward to 2026. So I think we should be able to get that done this next year, right?
Yep, it's getting close.
We're going to be able to get that done this next year?
They'll get started on it for sure, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that really pushed it over, we are shovel ready on that project, and that kind of pushed it right to the front of the line, and that worked in our favor. And I do want to commend our staff. So I actually kind of made my way onto the committee that makes the decisions about where the funding goes, and we did a van tour and saw about 12 different projects all over Weber County, and these guys met us at the bottom of Ritter, and just did a great job of explaining what we were trying to do and why we needed the money and why it was a safety issue and how it would help traffic flow and how the project was already partially done. I mean, a lot of the legwork had been done. It was ready to just basically start going. So the award year that we were touring the county about was for 2028, but because ours is ready, they just moved it forward. So it's ready for next year.
Did she say that she had moved us up there?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we got a letter today, and it said they were able to move it forward. There is one final approval from the county commission, but the WACOG already approved it. So hopefully the county commission will approve that.
When is that? Do you know?
I don't know when their meeting is, but yeah,
It's the meeting this month, though, right?
I would think so.
That's
Yeah,
what I
hope
was
so.
told.
Yeah, I'm not sure when their meetings are for the county commission. And that's all I have for the mayor's report, but that is some exciting news. All three of those things. We'll move on to the city administration report. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. The department heads' reports are in your packets. Most of them are here tonight. Does anybody have any question on anything that would be in any one of those? Seeing none, we will move on. I would just point out a couple things. This is one that Cody actually pointed out to me, and he had that latest report. Did you guys, I think he sent that out before tonight's packet, or did it come in tonight's packet? The one that you were asking for?
Yeah, it's in
Mike?
tonight's packet.
Okay.
Thank you.
But he did point out, I think it was on page 10 of mine when I was looking at this when I was preparing for this earlier today, and it's got the fiscal year to date total combined sales tax. There's a chart on there, if you can pull that up on that page 10. And if you look at that, I mean, some good news and encouraging, because we've been concerned the last couple of years that we were continually dropping. But if you'll notice this year to date, today, we are above 2022 levels. So for the first time for quite a while, we're back in a situation where it makes us feel a whole lot better. And if Cody's smiling about it, that's a good sign. So I just wanted to point that out to you. On that next page, there were a couple things there. Some of that has to do, with fines. Fines are down again, both in year to date and this last month. We had a really big drop, and I'm not really sure. I was going to talk to Casey about that and see what was going on, if there was something between the court or police. But we had a drastic drop, if you'll see on that one chart on that one. Fire, I was going to talk about some of those, but that's mainly for Matt's kind of stuff. Employee recognition. Some young guy on there, 21 years. I don't know who that is. I don't even recognize him, but I need to get my picture updated, don't I, Alan? That looks really bad. I look like some little kid in there. But it's not an anniversary year, and we do have somebody here tonight for an anniversary. So Derek Ingstrom, who is now heavily involved, even more so than ever, with our police department, is here. And Derek's got 15 years. So Mayor's got a little award and a certificate for him, if you want to take care of that now,
You
Mayor.
bet. Assistant Chief Ingstrom, if you'll come up front with us here. All right, well, it's an honor for me.
Sure, you want me to? What's that?
Do you want to get a picture?
Oh, yeah. Will you grab one?
I don't know what the normal timeline is, but I think 15 years is probably pretty quick to be an assistant chief. In my mind, it is. So we appreciate all you do for the department. Let's see here. Anyway, we have a certificate here recognizing you for 15 years. We have a little gift card for you as well, recognizing your service, and you know how I feel about the police department. So and you're obviously the second man in line, so you're right here at the top. Appreciate all you do. And I can say a few words to us, but anyway, congratulations. Thank you so much. I hope we can keep you.
All right, thank you guys. I've prepared a rather lengthy speech. You guys know me. No, I just want to thank the city and the police department for having me aboard for 15 years. It's been awesome. I came from another department. I loved it there. I didn't know it could be better, and it has been. So I've been here for 15 years, and I plan on being here a lot longer, hopefully. So thank you again, and thank you, Casey. So appreciate it.
Thanks.
Derek's one of those strong, silent guys in a couple of ways there, but it's just, we're just following tradition again. We always have good chiefs, and we always have good assistant chiefs, and we're not skipping a beat here. That whole campaign sign theft that many of you were involved in, Casey was gone. I think you were hunting or something, and so we leaned on Derek pretty heavy on that, and that thing was solved in just a matter of a day or two. So it's just good to work with these guys. I can't blow their horn enough. So thanks, Derek. We appreciate everything. And by way of recognition, too, because Nate Tracy is on here with the fire department at 13 years. We probably should recognize him as well. And the other ones are a little bit less numbers. Staffing authorization. Again, we're in pretty good shape. Fire, you're caught up, aren't you? We're just getting guys on board. Is everybody here now? So he's fully staffed and police is only down to one, correct?
We'll be fully staffed first month.
Okay,
So
so that's all
starts.
going through, okay. So, there we go. Best we've been for a while, so all those guys are up and going and fully staffed.
So the two deficits that are on here for police and fire don't exist anymore?
No, those would be,
Those will go to
yep,
zero.
they would be
on the next
gone,
That's
technically.
December 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, right now, yes. but
Yeah.
And Matt was the same way. One of those guys was coming out of the academy, if I recall correctly. So they're technically hired, but they're not right here yet. Matt's might be now. I know we were close, but so yeah, fully staffed on those. The last thing here that I wanted to report on was a community development report. I'll turn some time over to Brandon if he wants to just say a
Yeah,
couple
thank
quick
you.
words on that.
There's a couple of newcomers on the report. You'll notice the Nest is a beauty services facility. It's actually unique. It has a child care element to it, so you can bring your child. They'll be watched or entertained at least for the time that you're there. So that's interesting, and soon to open. And Nothing Bunt Cake is almost complete. So look on your calendar soon for a ribbon cutting for that.
They dropped one off yesterday. If you guys haven't had a chance, those things are really good.
Yeah.
I had a question. So I drove past the Axial Auto, and it is Mitsubishi Riverdale. Did we used to have a Mitsubishi in Riverdale?
Yes.
Yeah, I felt like we did. Ken Garf. Yeah, when I saw the sign, it just felt really familiar. But they haven't been here recently?
No, I
Okay.
if we've had a Mitsubishi, it predates my time here.
Okay.
That's quite a few years ago.
Okay. Anyways, I saw the Mitsubishi Riverdale. I was like, wait a second. Maybe we already had them. But so it was
Yeah.
previously and they left and now they're
Yeah,
back.
they've sold, so
I think that's good. Okay.
new brand.
Good.
And if I could just briefly, the townhomes over there, I took a tour with Jeff Woody last week. I think 2 or 3 of those had been finalized. And so that's really close. If you get a chance to drive over through there, man, it's crazy how many are in there. And they're high, too. They're 3 stories, and all the bedrooms are on that top floor, so all your beds and everything, they're going to have to haul up those stairs to get there. But really nice product. I was impressed with how the quality of them was just really nice. There's just an awful lot in there, but that'll be rolling. They'll be renting those out pretty soon, so it's really close.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to consent items. Number 1, consideration to approve the meeting minutes from our November 5th City Council work session and City Council meeting. Any corrections or changes to those minutes? Seeing none, we'd need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. We'll move on to action items. Number 1, consideration of resolution 2025-36, adopting an updated water conservation plan. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a required element, and honestly, this one's pretty basic. I highly expect in the next 5 years, we're going to see major changes in what they require of us for conservation. And so we didn't want to step in overly deep now. We want to meet the requirements, put some basic elements in there, but leave us some room to make some changes as they put requirements on. There's just no more water out there, and with all the growth they're proposing, this conservation is going to be the only way they get water. Like, there's just nowhere else to get it. So I would say you'll see more changes in this in the next few years. There's also some stuff on the table that's coming up that's going to promote conservation through the state charging us fees probably. Watch for that in the legislation for next year. But yeah, if you have any questions, we'd try and address them now. But overall, we do fairly well because most of our water's metered. And so our conservation's fairly good because people pay for it. And so they pay a little more attention than somebody that pays a water allotment up at the first of the year and they use as much water as they want, which is changing too because everybody has to be secondary metered by 2030. So them meters are all starting to come online now, but our residents are already used to that because they've paid for it. And, so I think that promotes conservation in and of itself, just paying for your water, not just paying a tax up front that gives you all year's worth of water. So.
One thing I thought was kind of interesting, if I looked at it right, it shows our city historical water supply summary, and it showed 2000, and then it showed 2024, and the amounts were almost identical.
So some of that, you have to play into some of that's metering because like our meters go through cycles. So like we'll put meters in as they wear out, they're not as accurate. And then also the meters that we buy water through are in the same kind of cycle. So sometimes we might be taking on, if their meters are old, say Weaver Basin's meters are old, we might be getting more water than what it shows. So there's some of that plays into that as well. But we have historically been, like Ridley was saying, he's like, you've already did a lot better than a lot of places with your conservation. The other thing is when we had the drought year and we used the drought rates, that really changed how people's watered. And it stayed for a couple of years. This year, though, we're kind of trending a little different. I would expect that our water usage is going to be higher this year than what we've seen the last few years. Like people didn't conserve as well this year. And then, but also the yards started to look a little better too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in my mind because we want neighborhoods that look nice. And the other thing you're seeing out there is a ton of people that are changing their yards out to the xeriscape type stuff.
Yeah.
And as a city, we've started doing that. If you looked at our park strips, we've started changing some out. When people ask us, we're like, well, go look what we're doing because them are the areas that are the most affected. Like that park strip's the biggest waste of water there is in your whole yard. And so we've started changing some of them out. We have another project that we're going to bring to you for the park to look at another little conservation project to start showing what we can do to take grass out of that in areas that aren't played on. But I think them things make a difference, and I think the residents are starting to catch on. And as rates go up and the water gets harder to find, I think it'll have to come on more. So,
Councilor Richter, did you have something?
Oh,
Okay.
Other than the comment, other than the comment, it looks like we're already meeting what the state requirement is for 2030. Is that what?
We're right there. It just depends on the year. Like we float around a little bit, but we do. That's why I said we do fairly well, and I think it's because we don't have a lot of not metered or paid for water. Like we're percentage wise, really the only areas that we have that use like secondary type waters in the East Bench. And then some people like out on South Weber, there's a few on Ritter, there's a few outlyings that still use secondary or canal water or bench water. Like the golf course still waters off a bench canal. There's a few of them. But for the most part, our residents pretty much pay for what they use on their sprinkling system.
Yeah, it seemed like a fairly aggressive plan, kind of.
And Councilor Haas, you had
Yeah, a
something?
couple of things I wondered about on this. In table 2.5, that's where it shows the total metered use and the total source production by year, and it goes back to 2000 through to 2024. The percent of water unaccounted for was fairly low differences until 2019.
So look back to the meter situations. So we've found that some of that played out, that it was actually meter differences. And so the meters weren't reading correctly. And so our numbers were closer together than what they should have been based on how much was being produced and how much we was coming through Weber Basin's meters compared to how much we was using. So we actually grew and was pretty accurate there about 5 years ago. We pretty much had, everything was within about 3 or 4 years of being brand new for the city's meters. But Weber Basin's was on the opposite end. So we was pretty accurate, if I'm explaining that right to you. So the numbers got really tight.
So before 2019, they were really tight, or that was when they weren't? Because it seemed like we were on the percent of water unaccounted for. All of a sudden in 2019, it jumped to like 15 to 20%.
So that's when when our new meters came on, like we was really close, like we all had old meters. And then I think you'll see that stay pretty much, I would say we're going to average around 16 to 19% of unaccounted for water.
And that's really standard in the industry, unfortunately.
Maybe I need to have a little more education on what that unaccounted for water means.
So that's water leaks, that's fire hydrants, that's firefighting, that's anything that's used that
That is
doesn't go
metered.
through a meter, you know. And so in the past, the other thing that we've done, and we're really working hard on this. So in the past, we let construction come in and use construction water and that and didn't meter it. Like they'd build a house and we didn't meter it till the residents moved in. Now we're kind of switching that. Like when they start using water, we're making them put a meter in. If they're on a construction project, we're trying to meter the hydrant, but it's still not metered as accurately because the meters come on and off. It'll never be great. Then we also have just like, you know, like when we do hydrant flushing, like we flush all of that water for weeks on end. We don't meter any of that because we need that flow to be high and we don't want to run the dirty water, not the dirty, but that water through the meter. So there's a lot of things in the system, but it's pretty much state average is pretty close to them same numbers.
Okay, and then in table 2.6, the first tier price is wrong. It says $0.04 per 1,000 gallons for tier 1, 0 through 10,000, and it's actually 46.
Okay, we'll make
So
a change on that.
And then the other thing that I was looking at was I can't remember which graph, the other graph that it was, where so the figure 2.4 on page 2-9, it shows the reliable water supply being just under 4,500, and our current volume being actual water use being in the 2,500 range. And so that was the part where I was wondering how much more water do we need?
So that's something we're working on a side study right now. Like we've been working close with Brandon. We're trying to figure out what our build out will be and then put all them numbers together. And it's changed so much lately because we never used to even think about high density. Like if we had an acre, we had 5 to 6 homes on it. Now we might have 60 residents or whatever we have on there. So we're really re-looking at all them numbers right now. And I hope in the next 4 or 5 months we'll have as accurate as we can get of what we really need. We're also looking at, there's some new techniques out there, and we're looking at maybe rehabilitating well number 2 and seeing how we can take care of the iron and manganese and the sand problem in it. So we actually have a meeting set up for January to start talking with some engineers out of Salt Lake on that well and look at what we could do to bring that back online. And then the rest of it will just be like how much production. The biggest thing we have right now is we don't have backup for well number 1. And so when that well goes down, we lose 2,000 gallons a minute. And during peak season, that's a problem. And so we need some redundancy. And so when we talk about reliable, like it's reliable to the point that it's a motor and it's a shaft and it's a pump. And it's about every 3 to 5 year situation where something in one of them components is a problem. And so what is reliable, I guess, you know, like what do you consider reliable? And then the problem with that is like the downtime on it. You're typically down 6 to 9 weeks, even if parts are available. And so we're looking at some redundancy there, whether that's another motor on the shelf and a pump that's sitting there waiting to go in, which is hard to stomach. But on the other hand, when you need it, you need it. And then also the well number 2 for backup. I think our supplies are getting pretty close. Like if we could make well number 2 produce, we could always drill a well, but lately that's been a risky business. Like there's been several shafts that are $1 million shafts that are drilled that test pumped okay, and when they tried to put a big pump in them, there was no water there. I know Weber Basin did one. Somebody else down south just did one recently, and so new shafts are scary. There's a lot of investment and no guarantee, and you don't know what minerals you're going to pick up in them layers as well. So I think we're doing a ton of work on that right now, so hopefully you'll see some stuff back on that in the next 4 or 5 months.
Any other questions? Okay. If there are none, we would need a motion
Yeah, Counselor Arnold.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-36 as stated within the packet.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Oh,
Second.
wait, with the change of the pricing that Counselor Haas pointed out.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Hawes?
Yes.
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Counselor Richter?
Yes.
All right, that passes unanimously. Very good. We'll move on to item number 2, consideration of resolution 2025-37, general election canvass. Ms. Maragoni.
Okay. So this is just the official results from the election held on November 4th, 2025. All of this information is accurate as of today, November 18th, 2025. I'm just gonna go over all of these numbers. Fasten your seatbelts. We have 4,063 active registered voters, 1,330 of them voted, which was a 32.73% turnout. We only had 2 provisional ballots cast and they were both counted. So all of these are nothing. 4,185 ballots were mailed. I don't know why that's more than our active registered voters. Oh, wait. They were returned. They were undeliverables. 1,300 people cast ballots through mail. 2,855 didn't return them. We only had 4 ballots not counted that were returned. 1 was the signature didn't match the voter record. 2 were not signed. 1 was an empty envelope. And on all of those, they were contacted, notified the reason they weren't counted, given instructions how to correct it, but they didn't. As far as individual results, Braden Mitchell received 100% of the votes for mayor, 1,144 total. For the 4-year council positions, Kent Anderson received 734, Bar Stevens 619, Stacy Hawes 552, Shauna Flinders at 458, with percentages noted. And for the 2-year, Annie Hansen received 1,140 votes, which was also 100% of the votes. Precinct level are included. Do you want me to read all of them? Okay. They are included in the report, and then this report will be sent to the state elections office tomorrow, and also posted.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Maragoni?
Just a comment. It was a little disappointing. Maybe it's, as one person said, maybe a little voter fatigue from last year's presidential election. But as an off-year election, which is nonpartisan, this is about 300 votes less than it was 2 years ago in the prior odd-year election, which is the why is to be debated, but it's kind of disappointing that you know this is the vote that has most impact on our day-to-day activities, you know, parks and garbage pickup, snow removal, all those types of things. But appreciate the turnout that was there and those who did participate in the process.
Any other comments? Okay. Councilor Hawes. Just a question. So does this mean that there were no in-person ballots?
The 2 provisionals were probably in person. But yeah. I'm using the wrong mouse.
Councilor Arnold.
There's no way to differentiate between the mailed ballots and the in-person ballots because of the way it runs. When you're an in-person ballot, you go in, they print one out. You fill it out just like you would mail it in. Your envelope's the same, everything's the same. They put it in the ballot box just the same, so there's no way to differentiate the two.
Weird.
Councilor Arnold worked at the Weber County Elections Facility, which is
Pretty amazing. If you're an elected official and you have any questions about how it rolls and scout troops and stuff like that, if you want to check it out and see how it works, go in. It is like, what, like no one can tell anything about anything. No one working there, there's no way to have an effect on it. It's amazing. So it's really a fun process to watch.
cool. All right. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-37 as stated within the packet with the change on the, what do we need to change to put Braden as mayor and not a part of the city council? That's in the packet. That council,
Remove the last little blurb there, to remove the office of city council. It just says that ends.
but, I mean, and we
certified.
can put respectively with the mayor and city council in there because it says that they're all in the,
So what I did is I just changed it to say hereby certified as the elected candidates.
so the packet, or the packet's
yeah.
correct now?
I think that's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just stated within the packet.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Counselor Henson?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Richter?
Yes.
Counselor Hawes?
Yes. All right. That passes unanimously as well. We will move on to item number 3, discussion of the Stringtown Master Plan Design Process. Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. It seems we're already putting the scouts to sleep, so I'll go as quickly as you all need me to. This is essentially for you. We wanted to use this time to coordinate a few things. Yes, sir.
As a former merit badge counselor, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting. You got to answer your questions that you got to do, and if you've checked the boxes, you're good to go. So it's up to you.
I do have another comment, though. This is like, it's public knowledge, and we've been very open about it, but not a lot of people know about it just because they just don't, you know what I mean? They're just not that interested in it. But it's actually some pretty cool information if you want to know about some future plans for Riverdale. This is something that Mr. Cooper's been working on, and I don't know if all your troop is from Riverdale, but I know some of the leaders are. Anyway, you might find it a little bit interesting, so. Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
I think you sold them.
All right,
Good
there
job.
they go. They're still here.
Good
so.
job. Okay, let's turn this on. You're familiar with the project site. As you know, we've been working with the various landowners that are included in this orange boundary line here on this map. Not all of them are participating. We drew a larger boundary just for future opportunities. But the primary property owners, including Riverdale City, are having discussions about what potential development opportunities can exist here and how to best utilize the land that surrounds this part of the Weber River. And we've dubbed that Stringtown. Let me just briefly cover some of these milestones so the public and you all are up to speed as to what this process has been like. We formally kind of launched into this in March when we reached out to Wasatch Front Regional Council for some financial assistance. They awarded us $200,000 in a transportation and land use connection grant. That came with a match of $60,000. So our design budget for the project currently sits at $260,000. You all, acting as the RDA board, approved the letter of concurrence back in July, basically agreeing to that grant award and committing the $60,000. And then in October, via Wasatch Front Regional Council Services, we procured a a consultant firm or a team that essentially is going to lead us through this process. We made that selection on the 10th of November, and then we had our first kickoff meeting yesterday, which is why we decided to quickly put this discussion on today's agenda, even though it was a little bit late from our normal publishing, so we appreciate that. So that's kind of what led us here. The master planning process is really the process that's going to...
Who's DHR? If you can go back one.
Oh, on the selection team, that's Dee Hansen.
Okay.
Yep, you're talking about the November 10th bullet.
Yeah, just the pool of candidates.
Yep.
I've had a couple of people approach me that they're landowners, but they're not involved in the process, and it's kind of bothered them a little bit.
Right. We've made an open invitation to all the landowners, and some have chosen to kind of get on board. We had a formalized document that was administrative. It wasn't something that the council approved, but it was a document similar to a memorandum of understanding or a letter of intent, non-binding. And we approached all the landowners that would be substantially involved in the process, asked them to participate. Some did, some didn't. And that's a signed document that is really directing us down this road. And those people are listed on that bullet point right there. We have early on kind of established some strategic pillars, and I've put this in the transmittal that I sent to, that Michelle sent to you earlier today. It's a bit more explanatory there. But essentially, we've identified some strategic pillars that we want to help or to use to guide us through this process. There's a lot that goes into master planning. One of the constraints that we have currently with this process is the constraint of time. The largest landowner is Bach Homes. They're primarily in the center. They're shown on the plat map as Eagle Landing as the property owner. So that's Bach Homes. They already have a development agreement with the city that allows them to go forward and build certain unit types and at a certain quantity. That was approved by the council previously. They have graciously accepted our invitation to put that on the shelf for a while and to go down this path of analysis and study to determine if a larger project would yield better results, not only for them as a company, but for the city and the community in general. So they've agreed to do that, but it doesn't have an indefinite time frame. So they've asked us to be a little bit urgent about this in the selection of the consultant firm as well as the schedule. And so we have established a timeline that will start this design process fairly quickly based on these 5 strategies. And so what we're proposing tonight is that we use the joint session that's already scheduled for December 2nd with the council and the planning commission to have what's called a design charrette. Is anyone familiar with that term? So essentially it would be part of the joint meeting with the planning commission. It would last an additional 2 hours beyond whatever else we put on the council meeting agenda or whatever else we might have for that joint session. So that would be dedicated 2 hours. We essentially will have the council, the planning commission, the property owners, WFRC, the design team, and their consultants, a whole host of people there with us. And we would break off into groups of 4, and in those groups, we would be looking at land use scenarios that would then have a mechanism for you to provide feedback. So that's sticky notes, that could be drawing. There might be some land use concepts that are printed and cut out so that you can kind of build a map, those kind of things. There'll be some activities there that allow you to kind of see the project holistically and give your inputs on certain land uses that might be appealing to you. We'll break that out so that we look at how we treat the river in terms of its urbanization or transition or naturalization. We'll look at all the civic and cultural components that might need to be addressed, especially with this building and the police department and the public works building being part of the project. We'll have to address that. Branding, wayfinding, and theming that will be a part of the discussion. I've already communicated to the project team that there is some hesitancy from you all about the name Stringtown, and so I've reached out to Cami Ellis via email and asked her if she'd be willing to kind of jump on board and help us go through some naming exercises that might still have some connection to our history. I think that's really important. And she hasn't responded, but Amy or Cami, if you're out there, please help us. Commercial developments, we'll look at those, what those uses look like, what's a good mixture. Part of the reason why Larry Miller is involved in this project is that we have made it known that we would like to have an entertainment component as part of our new neighborhood here, and that would be in the form of a movie theater potentially. And so we look at all that. All the mixed uses, offices, what the recreation and open space amenities look like, how the trails connect. So all of that is part of this design charrette, and that's really your first real time to provide the input. And there'll be a baseline that will be helpful for you to look at prior to that meeting, and we'll get that out to you ahead of time. So that's really the nutshell of the conversation. Is we're launching into this process. We've procured the consultant as we indicated that we would, and we have a short timeline. We'd like to get to what's called a framework plan, which is essentially the concept map of the major roadways and the connection points, what the individual land uses are in the certain areas. And that's when we would start the public process. So that plan is what we would take to the public to get additional feedback from the public. It gives them something to respond to instead of starting from a blank page. That would have all of your input into it. It would have all the property owners' input. It would have all of staff's input. So that's a good place to start with the public. We like to do that January, February-ish, and have a completed plan that would be really the roadmap for future development. That would be the basis of all of our legal agreements that we'd have in development agreements and things like that by end of February. So we're on a really tight time frame. So in order for us to be productive when I come to you in 5 months and ask for an approval of a development agreement, we need you to be part of this process as much as you can now. That's really it. So I'd like to get maybe your feedback, any discussion or input.
Anyone?
I like the aggressive time frame. I think it's good. I'd like to see on paper some of these thoughts and concepts we've been talking about for quite some time. So yeah, I'm very supportive.
Councilor Arnold?
I'd like a list of restrictions and concerns. You know, I'm terribly concerned with the hillside, that even buying that property and digging there and having some sort of issue could really have a problem for the city. The bridge that Bach Homes, I believe, is for as long as I've been around, they're saying they're going to build the bridge, or not them, but whoever was before Bach Homes. So are they going to build the bridge? When's the timing on that and all that kind of stuff? And then the base with the flight path, with the restrictions there, what can we do in that it's right in the runway. So
it's a good question. All of those things have been are known to the project team.
And I'm thinking as we do the charrette to have those kind on written on paper, that when we break out into groups we can say, hey, we've got we're making Lagoon in there, and you can't have Lagoon 2 because you can't raise the population by or something. Just that's all I'm saying, is just so we can be productive in the charrette.
That's what I meant in terms of the baseline mapping. So we'll spend between now and then, and we already have a lot of that information because of the work that Bach has done previously and what worked some of the work the city's done. But we've given that all to the consultant. They'll synthesize it into some mapping. So when you sit down, you'll have those constraints outlined. We are looking to a couple of things. We are looking to mitigate some of the current constraints, so that we know that the rail line is a current constraint. It would be unfortunate to ignore it and turn our back to it. It would be opportunistic to mitigate it. Same thing with the hillside. It would be unfortunate to turn our backs to it. So what does mitigation look like? The river's going to have to be mitigated in terms of the floodplain and building close to it, all that kind of stuff, the natural habitat. So there's going to be a lot of things that seem like major challenges, but the thinking is, what do we want to accomplish and how do we mitigate the things that are challenges to get there? So that's the thinking that I'd like you to bring to the table. And then the second part of that is come to the table with a blank slate in terms of all the preconceptions that you have from prior agreements. That's really the invitation that we've made to Bach Homes is whatever you've committed to in the development agreement, whatever expectations have been set thus far about a bridge or whatever, those things are all irrelevant at this point until we get through this, because a bridge is necessary, we know that, but Bach Homes might not build it. That kind of a thing.
I'm excited because I'm excited to do it with you guys on the planning commission. I think we have a great group of people, and I mean, obviously, Councilor Arnold, just in his few points, already are bringing things to the surface. I think it's going to be a super interesting process. Other questions, Councilor?
Well, I mean, we've been talking Stringtown for a while, and I like it, but it's all 30,000 foot view stuff, and so I'm happy to see this move forward into getting into the more in the weeds, into the specifics. That's probably a better way to say it, rather than looking at the overview of things and the positives, the negatives, the challenges. You know, all those things need to be openly discussed, and I'm happy to see that move forward.
Is there anything that we can do to prepare? Like, is there anything we can go see, anywhere we can go visit? Not that's going to, influence us too much, but maybe to catch the vision of the scope of what type of development we're looking at. Like,
absolutely. Michelle and I have talked multiple times about renting a van and taking as many as we practically can, noticing it as necessary and visiting. There's lots of precedent. I've provided precedent pictures in all the communications that I've made. So I think having a vision in your head is very helpful coming into these things. I see the project already built, so I'm working backwards. Right. I get it that people need to see the project forward. And so whatever you need to help do that, because this won't be the only bite at the apple that we'll have. It'll be quickly, and it will be drinking out of a fire hose. But once we start to get some of those concepts on paper, it will evolve, and you'll have a number of times to revisit that evolution to where it's finally something that you want in the community. So visiting places, I think, just helps that. And also, I'll send you all the precedent information that we've had. I'll send you the written documentation about the pillars and some of the critical success factors, so you can read up on that. Most of it's in the thing that was sent to you today. But then if we can facilitate a road trip, there's some things that are fairly close, other things in Salt Lake County that we can visit.
Okay. And maybe you can even provide a list. I don't know if we'll be able to, I don't know if we'll be able to pull that together.
Yeah.
I would love to do it, but schedules are so difficult. So even providing us a list of some could be giant master plan communities, and some could be small, like, hey, here's a place in Davis County where they did a part of this, or Ogden, or these places did a miniature, a piece that might fit in this.
Why don't we start with a Google tour first, Google Earth tour, so I can give you a list of places you can check on Google Earth.
That'd be great.
And then if there's a physical tour, maybe that's the next step.
Okay. Councilor Arnold.
How much is the state, so I have two questions. How much is the state know about this? South Weaver Drive is going to be a major part of that because it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the ingress egress from both sides. You're talking, hey, we're going to go past classic water slides. That's always a joy to go to that gate and hang out there. Or do we go all the way to Adams Parkway? Or, can we connect somewhere? Because, it's a great concept, I think, with the river and everything, but with the railroad tracks blowing right through there, it kind of hampers the whole thing to, the joy of the view of whatever.
So again, think mitigation, because you're absolutely right. This is undeveloped for a reason, right? And so now we're approaching it in a way that is taking something that none of your predecessors either were able to or willing to address, right? So it's going to take thinking that's beyond the level of thinking that has existed prior to you today. The charrette is just focused on the Stringtown district. We're not looking at any of the Stringtown flex portion, which is on the other side of 84. That will be a separate process, separate project, although they will be connected. The I-84 interchange is a major component of this. We've asked the design consultant to kind of walk us through a couple of scenarios that might have a final master plan with the interchange and a final master plan without it. What do those neighborhoods look like? Because they'll function completely different without the interchange. We have, do you have some thoughts?
Just go ahead. I'll fill it in at the end, depending on what you say here.
We have worked with Wasatch Front Regional Council in the Wasatch Choice Vision process, which is a totally separate process. The first step of getting the interchange even considered by UDOT is getting it on what's called the Regional Transportation Plan. They're currently working on the 2027 to 2055 plan. It's currently mapped. We just went to a workshop the other day. It does show on their maps. It's on their radar. It's currently showed as exploratory, but we've expressed our desire to get that elevated up to a preferred scenario. So they've heard us, and so now they're facilitating a meeting with Rob White. Mayor, I didn't even mention that to you. That was just today that Steve and I talked about that. So we're getting in front of UDOT to get them to basically bless this idea of doing an interchange on their facility. And once that happens, then it gets part of the 2027, 2055 RTP, and that now it has a chance. It still might be years away. And so some of what we need to think about, again, is what's the alternative that if it never happens, what's the alternative if it's going to happen, but how does it phase over time until that does take place?
And we did, at that Wasatch Front Regional Council meeting last week, 3 of our local elected officials were there, and they were very interested in a possible alternative to the toll road, access up to the terrace. And Jake Sawyer, who doesn't even actually represent any of Riverdale, he went up to the exploratory thing and just kind of like crossed it out and said basically needs to happen, Representative Sawyer. And so those are state level representatives that are like, we've got to move this forward with this interchange on 84. We were a little disappointed to see it not a little more firm, but anyway, the state level representatives, elected officials were like, hey, this is awesome. Like, yeah.
Okay. What tentatively are they looking at it as an interchange on 84? Is that incorporated into this?
So that proposal is coming from us for a couple of reasons. Number one, we think that it has merit outside of this proposed project of Stringtown because it does so much to alleviate the traffic along Riverdale Road. If an interchange was essentially dropped right there at the corner of the golf course on 84. Yep. What's that?
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. And then a leg came up through to 900 and came down to South Weber Drive. If there was no project associated with that at all, we feel, or at least I feel, that it warrants getting built just because of the fact that Riverdale Road is almost at capacity. The interchanges haven't worked for many, many years. And so UDOT's needing to look at some kind of relief there. Now you add on the fact that interchange unlocks almost 600 acres of undeveloped land. So that's new housing, that's new jobs, that's new recreational activities, all the things that Utah loves and is willing to fund through various different types of grants. Then you look at the fact of potentially connecting to the backside of Hill Air Force Base on the old North Gate. Now that gives all of the folks at the Riverdale Innovation Center and the MIDA Falcon Hill area a back way out of Hill Air Force Base and up the canyon and up to places like Morgan and the Valley and those kind of things. So I don't know if Sean or Steve wants to add to that, but I think there's a significant warrant for the interchange outside of this project.
Does it connect with 5600? If you did this interchange, I mean, that would be
Not at this time.
I mean, the thought isn't there because I was just thinking,
No, but I think that's one of the things that's intriguing to UDOT about this whole concept. We just laid this on them a year ago. And so this is relatively new, and we brought up this idea about this whole thing, and I think they've just kind of looked at this going, there's some possibilities here because of that. You could alleviate some of the traffic, pull some of that away from 5600, get them going that other direction like Brandon was saying there, besides pulling them off of Riverdale Road. And that's where I think they're looking at this, because we can only expand Riverdale Road so wide, but we might be able to pull them a different direction. And so I think that's one of the reasons it's even there at this point. And the more we look at it as we zero in on this, it may even take a higher status than it is right now. But the short answer to your original question is, yeah, UDOT knows about it. They didn't, but they do know about it, and it's one of those ones that's kind of raising some eyebrows. They're thinking about a lot of the possibilities here, just like Brandon was saying, of the way we've been looking at it, that we can do with it.
if we don't have those guys on our team, we can't even get them to move a median somewhere. I mean, they say we're putting a median in here.
We did stop one, Alan. That's the first time in history.
Please don't. And they go, whatever.
I think
And we're talking like an interchange.
We went past please this last time on one we supposedly have stopped so far, so.
For now.
yeah. I think it's a lesson learned, I hope, between that island and our experience with the airport, that it's important that UDOT needs to listen to the local officials, because they were warned about the airport. We warned them about those islands as well, and they did listen to us on that one. At least at this point they have. So Rob's been really good to work with, in fairness to him. I mean, he's been great, the Region 1 director that covers that. And Rob was the one that initially, when we laid this on him, he kind of just looked at us like, man, we ain't thought about that. But it fits in perfectly because it meets their distances between their different exits and things like that. Plus, it pulls traffic away from where it's concentrated now. So I think there's a good chance. And I think as we get closer and show them this development and the possibilities, I think it's going to just, move up the priority list quite rapidly at that point.
This is an elephant, and we have to eat it one bite at a time. We're taking that first bite. As I said, UDOT takes, and Sean probably knows this better than I do, but UDOT, from what I understand, takes their priorities from the regional transportation plan that Wasatch Front creates, because they do the process, they do the due diligence, they get the inputs, and then UDOT uses that as their roadmap. So the first step is to get on the RTP, and that's what we're trying to do by getting from exploratory to preferred.
Have you guys talked to South Weaver about this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 'Cause I would think they would be all over this, trying to get, it makes sense for them.
Yeah, and at the appropriate time, we'll include them in the discussion in terms of the design and things. I don't know if they care much about Stringtown District, what's the focus of this charrette, but certainly when we get to the other side, and definitely with the interchange, they'll want to participate. And Lance, I forgot the city manager's name. He's going to punch me. Anyway,
David,
yeah, they want to be involved.
Okay, it's exciting. Any other questions or comments for tonight? So keep the information coming. Yeah.
So are we good on December 2nd?
Yeah.
I have a comment about December 2nd. I will feed you. It'll be long, but I will feed you.
Okay. We probably, if we have a 2-hour meeting after all our meetings, we probably better have something.
Dessert.
are you paying for that, Michelle?
At least a cookie or something.
You're gonna cook it too?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We'll get you food.
Okay. Anything else for that discussion?
Yeah,
No. Okay.
Okay. No smoked tacos.
We got through upcoming events in our work session. Is there any comments or questions about the upcoming events? Okay. Hey, thanks for coming tonight. We'll see you on December 2nd. Let us know if you're going to be here so we can make sure that we get you a couple of granola bars or something. So
We used to have
for the
those.
scouts.
We used to have those packets we gave them. Do we still do that, Michelle? Do you still have them, or?
That's a different.
Is that a different thing
That was
altogether?
That was
citizenship.
citizenship in the community. This is communications.
Oh, okay,
Badge.
okay.
They should get both for tonight, so. All right, we'll move on to the comments section of our agenda. Comments from the city council for this meeting. Any comments from the city staff?
No, Mayor.
Oh, I do have one.
Okay,
Yeah, we do.
get him on a mic.
The decorations that we usually put on 4400 South in the roundabout for Christmas will be moving to the flag over here behind Sam's Club for this year. So if you get questions on that, they've taken the power out up there, so we can't light them.
Okay.
So
Oh, do you mean on Parker?
they
up
actually are
on-
the ones up on the old
Higher.
Cozy Dale of
Cozy Dale.
4400.
Oh, okay, okay.
The ones that were there are going to move over there for this year.
For this year, okay.
But will the other two still have stuff in it?
Which ones?
Don't you usually do some down here on 700?
700 will. There's no change there, but they've knocked the power out up on the upper roundabout, so we don't have any way to light them. So we're gonna move them over for this year.
And just so you know, I drove that little road by America First.
Little,
There
there's
now.
nothing little about that road.
It's pretty cool.
It's built for 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So next year, after we put the chip seal on it, then we'll put the final striping on it. So it'll have some more striping and stuff like that on it. But it'll be after the. We didn't want to put a bunch of paint down and then chip over it because the chip don't like to adhere to the paint. So the striping's pretty basic right now, but it will have more striping on it and more signage on it by next year. So
Good question.
Yeah.
So Riverdale owns that road and we will maintain it and plow it and everything?
it's just gonna be. It'll be a replacement for the old road there, which just saved us honestly a lot of money because that road was scheduled for replacement, and now we have a brand new road that. So it was a win for us, I feel like, and they did it. They ended up, it wasn't originally planned that way, but they actually put in a concrete roundabout, which is our first one, which should give us way more life usage out of that than what we've had in the past with the asphalt. So I think that'll be our model, maybe after we've looked at it for 4 or 5 years, that we might go to concrete on all of them for what we're seeing so far, so.
Well, yeah, that's really nice too.
Yeah.
To follow up on Councilor Arnold's comment, the first time that I drove on it was at night in a rainstorm. I thought I was gonna die. I had no idea where I was. That thing is so big. The lines are so I didn't know if I was on the road, on my side of the road. It was really an interesting drive.
We put curbs on there, so you had bumpers, just hit the bumper and go
Yeah,
to the
that's-
side.
Turn around. I don't think this is right. Turn around.
That's great.
There'll be like I say, there will be a lot more, there'll be more lines coming on it and things like that. It's just, we didn't want to put them down and then try and chip over the top of them, have the chip pill up, so.
You know, trying to navigate in rush hour in the evening, Riverdale Road, just to get to Roy is just awful. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just to get it to the top. And so the locals have figured out to go up 4400 to the roundabout and then come out by Maverick. And even though that seems like 3 sides to the square, it is so much faster than trying to just go up that little bit of Riverdale Road because it's so congested.
So you realize that certain places on 4400 South, we have almost 10,000 to 11,000 cars a day. When you shut that down on a westbound direction, it forces all them people to go to Riverdale Road because they don't know their way around. They're not doing the local cutoffs like our locals do. And we put that much more traffic on Riverdale Road, and we feel like it's a 10-minute different delay in the evening for the guys going home just since the bridge closed. Is what we're feeling.
Yeah, I would imagine that there are times when it's quicker to come off the the viaduct and take 700 over to 44 out to 1500 and back to Riverdale Road than to go up Riverdale Road.
Quicker to go through Morgan.
Just about.
That scooter should get you around that just fine. Come on now.
Yeah, you could take that over the pedestrian bridge, I guess, right? There you go. Anything else? So, just for your information, I have reached out to UDOT and asked them for a letter. basically taking blame for the project. I said, I want something saying that it was your fault and it was not Riverdale's fault that this project is delayed. Because I'm getting pushback from residents, and I don't want them to think that it was anything that the city did. I feel like, and they said they could do that. They said they would do that. So I appreciate that. You talk about getting around that meeting with the WFRC that we went to last week was at the Roy City offices. And we came out and got in our cars, and I was like, how do I get home from here? You know, and there's no good option. Like 31st Street, I did 31st Street because I wasn't going over Riverdale Road, but there's no good way for me to get home from Little Caesars or the Roy City offices. Yeah.
Having lived by kind of just west of the Burger Bar, you take the surface streets through Roy, avoid 1900, come
Yeah.
up on by the Burger Bar between is it CVS or
Okay. Headed east.
go straight east
through.
So you don't have
Don't
to
take
a
that
left-hand
left.
turn
I've heard horror
on
stories.
1900.
Everybody's telling me that left turn from 1900 Riverdale Road, 4 and 5 lights to try and make that turn. Like it's taking forever. So
Go west a couple blocks, even to the church, and then come up.
Of course, when Bart was doing it, it was the Monaco's.
Oh, that's awesome. So, okay. Very good. I don't have anything else. So with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right. We are adjourned.
This was a hard election for me.